Hi there, I'm Robert. I'm one of your student content shapers, and I'm a third year chemical engineering student here at UoB. And I'm here today to give you a bit of advice on how you can use the reasonable adjustment plans, extensions, and the C scheme that the uni offers. With that being said, let's just get straight into it. First, I'm going to talk about extensions and deferrals. If you have a coursework deadline or an exam coming up, but something far beyond your control is preventing you from either submitting that piece of work on time or from sitting that exam, the extension and deferral form is there to give you a bit of leeway. These are typically only granted in exceptional and unforeseen circumstances. This usually means family bereavements, sudden worsening of illnesses, or mental health issues. Extensions are granted for between 5 to 15 working days. This would mean if you had a piece of work due on Wednesday the 12th, you would then have until Wednesday the 19th to do it, because you would then also have the 2 days over the weekend. However, the time of the submission stays the same, so if it was due at 12 p.m. on the 12th, it would then still be due at 12 p.m. on the 19th. The extension form also only works if you submit it before your course deadline has passed, so make sure not to submit it after the deadline. You'll usually also be asked to provide some sort of evidence proving your circumstances. If you don't have any evidence, you can choose to self-elect and provide a reason yourself. This does mean that your wellbeing team might be in touch with you to ask for a bit more information, so bear that in mind. If you need to fill out the extension form, it's generally a good idea to speak to your school's wellbeing advisor. They can give you a lot more specific advice on the grounds for your extension, and they can help walk you through the process as well. You should also check out the guidance page the uni has posted on extensions. It also has a link to all the different forms for each different college. The next form I'm going to be talking about is the EC form, which has some similarities to the extension form, but there's quite a few key differences. Like the extension form, you send in the EC form if something unforeseeable and exceptional has happened that's badly affected your performance in any sort of assessment, be it exam or assignment. One of the big key differences though is this one is retrospective. You send this in after what's happened has happened, and you need to have it sent in within 24 hours of the thing happening. The whole range of different outcomes for the EC form. You can either have it waive your late penalties, it could give you a second sit of the exam, either capped or uncapped, and it can even be used to apply for retaking a year. During the application, you'll need to outline how exactly the circumstances have affected you and how the outcome you've asked for will actually help you. As with the extension process, your application will be considered alongside your course status. This will mean as either a postgrad or undergrad, as a part-time or full-time student, and depending on whether your course requires any work placements or not. For example, if you were to receive a medical diagnosis for any sort of condition, for example, say ADHD or autism, in the middle of your time on your course, that can be considered for ECs because neither you nor the university were able to make the adjustments based on it. The outcome of your application is agreed at the EC panel. This means you'll usually hear the outcome of your application after exams have happened. It can vary though. It's generally always worth asking your wellbeing officer about it. You'll be informed of the outcome by email, and it will detail what the actual outcome of your application was, as well as any further notes that have been considered relevant. For more information, it's a good idea to visit the Extenuating Circumstances Procedures page that's on screen right now. This, as well as giving you a link to the different forms, also can give you more guides on what can be granted, what evidence is accepted, and what grounds you could apply for ECs with. The last thing I'm going to be talking about today is the Reasonable Adjustment Plan, or a RAP. A RAP is a document that provides a framework of adjustments the university can use to help you through your assessments. It can be implemented for your assignments and your exams, but it can also be implemented for any lab work, lectures, and field trips. As the RAP comes directly from the Student Disability Service to you, you will need to send it off to your lab coordinator, your module convener, or whoever is responsible for your field trips. You can apply for a reasonable adjustment plan if you have a condition that meets the legal definition for a disability. You might even qualify even if you don't think that you have a disability. To get a reasonable adjustment plan, you need to directly apply to the Student Disability Service. You can apply for it both as a prospective student and as a current student. If you're in doubt, I would say it's worth getting the ball rolling on it. It's something that's generally always good to have, even if you may not always use it. The university currently provides support for a number of different conditions, including ADHD, autism spectrum conditions, dyslexia, dyspraxia, any long-term mental health issues, unseen disabilities, mobility impairments, and sensory impairments. I hope you found this guide helpful. There's plenty of people here at UoB who are more than willing to try and support you, so don't be afraid to reach out. If you have any questions, feel free to look on the student intranet or ask your school's wellbeing officer. Bye!